Now we come to our guest.
Our guest, yes, today is Professor Dr. Barbara Meibom. She is distinguished in at least two ways. First of all, she has ascended in her career over several decades during a most interesting period in history. That's postmodernism. And it has witnessed a revolutionary change in the status of women, and which she has navigated quite successfully. We want to know more about that. And second, she has cremated.
No, created.
Comunio, the Institute for the Art of Leadership, which is a pioneering ways of communication that create relationship and mutual appreciation, which allows the emergence of powerful solutions to problems. And she knows intimately what's the same and what's now different regarding how women express their power in this century. And we're anxious to learn what she's learned about this very slippery business. So, Barbara, would you say hello, please?
Hello, Mark, and hello, Heidi. Thank you for inviting me tonight for our conversation.
Yeah, I'm very curious about it because as I'm in first person interested in the power of women. And what Mark said before, we consider you as very successful in having been a woman and coming out as a professor and creating all these things. And I sort of think, oh, I didn't get that. So I would like to learn a little bit about how women get in contact with their power. And let's say first, what do we understand about power? And women power, feminine power, and we will, one after the other, we will talk about these things.
Well, I think the first thing women should do is to honor their own power. Instead of refusing it, honor it, accept it, appreciate it, and express it to the benefit of themselves and the whole. Without honoring power, you can't become a powerful woman. And to come to your question right away, what is power? I think that's the crucial point. What is power? What is our notion of power? Shall I go on that?
Yeah, I think so, because I think normally in our society, power is understood as power over. I have power over him, so he has to do everything what I want. And I don't think this is the only way to understand power. No. So I think, yeah.
Yeah, well, I think the shadow side of power is well known. And the shadow side, of course, is dominance, cruelty, atrocity, all the story like this. But there's, of course, a very good side of power, too. In German, we have the word Liebesmacht, which you could translate the power of love. So we need power, and we need power to organize our life, to structure societies, to organize the interaction between people, organizations, nations, etc., etc. We need power. Well, for me, power is energy. And energy in itself is neutral. I think that's very important. Energy in itself is neutral, and you can use energy in one direction or the other. You can use it for the benefit of yourself, others, and the whole, and you can use it just to the contrary, driven by greed, revenge, hate, or whatsoever. So the core question is, what is the attitude behind your use of power?
I want to go back before we get deeper into that to something that came up in your first remarks. Am I wrong in applying that there are a lot of women who do not recognize their power?
Yes, of course. Yeah. I will come back to this later. I
Okay.
think, well, women are very endangered to identify with the role of the powerless. But I would like to come back to that.
Okay.
I think first, the question is how we can achieve an attitude with regard to power, which gives the power a positive, a constructive impact in our environment and for ourselves. And this, of course, is you have to somehow to learn to master your power. And the stronger your power is, the more you are invited to master your own power. Because if you don't master it, it just overruns the other people and you start to dominate. So in order to master your own power, you have to develop an awareness of the power you have, which is not self-understood. Many people, I myself, I didn't have an awareness of the power I had. So it took me quite a time to explore the fact that I'm a woman who has power. And as soon as you start to explore this with a critical mind and a loving mind, hopefully, then you start to shape your use of power more in the direction of the benefit instead of the negative side.
Yeah.
So self-management, I call it spiritual self-management, is a spiritual task. Spiritual self-management helps you to develop an attitude with regard to your power, which makes it a constructive energy instead of a destructive one.
Exactly. And out of my own experience, when I expressed moments of power, let's say as a child or young woman, it was always dimmed down. Who do you think you are? Or something like this. And so it goes into strange ways. Then women, and many women, are still operating power in a way which is not good.
Yeah,
you know?
Well, this leads exactly to the question. The challenges in the use of power are different between men and women.